Well, I think Nigerians are being deceived. That's the official reaction. Because in the first instance, if you are saying that the independent marketers are now bringing the products into the market, into Nigeria, Nigerians will want to know how many of them, and for us to see the list of those who are importing the product into Nigeria, and to find out the role of NNPC in the current dispensation. NNPC cannot import and say it is imported by independent marketers. That is not true. Two, if government withdrew subsidy on petroleum products, and suddenly we are about discussing the aftermath of it, and while we are about even to start the committee meetings, another price is increased. Now you ask yourself, why will government go to court to seek injunction? Why will government take some other measures if it is not their business? The matter is clear that it's like we have entered a reign where Nigerians are being punished unnecessarily and where lies are coming up everywhere. So I think clearly the government is toying with Nigerians, and it's like a situation whereby they are telling us, what can you do? It's a reign of impunity that is coming up everywhere. It's not all about, it's not economics. What is happening there is not economics. It's not about market force, you know. And if you are now approving almost 70 billion to subsidize those in National Assembly, probably to buy bulletproof vehicles for them and all that, and you are equally increasing, you know, the pump price of petroleum products, and you say you are removing subsidy. Removal of subsidy, is it on the one that affects the poor alone? I think it is a problem that they are creating that will be between the poor and the rich, because they are taking away all that the poor are trying to benefit from, and they are giving it to the rich. In the battle that will ensure, I think they need to buy more bulletproof vehicles for the rich to continue to move around, because when people cannot get food to eat, they will run to the street. And it's all about what Labour says about it. The problem now is not a Labour problem. The problem is everywhere, and I think they are prepared for it. I think Nigerians should see it beyond, you know, just prices of PMS, and see that government is on daily basis attacking Nigerians. Government is on daily basis confronting Nigerians. Why government is doing this? Why government is going to provocation and attack on Nigerians? You know, it's something that is not clear to the Nigerian labor movement. And I think we need to observe this. Find out why within 2 months, government has attacked workers on the issue of threat to increase tariff, electricity tariff. Government has attacked Nigerian students on the threat to introduce school fees and all. So there must be something that is behind this. So I think Nigerians should look at it while we're on standby, you know, waiting for this action. Because if whether there will be any clash, yes, or how and when it will start, Nigerians should determine in the next few days. The present government you are seeing cannot call me to say they want to increase petroleum product. It is a government that is dictatorial. It's a government that acts on its own. It's a government that takes an action. What is my responsibility is the reaction of Nigerians when we weigh all the options available to us. It's a government that it's a government that prefers to get a court injunction. It's a government that prepares to do some other undercurrent things that threaten you. So it's not a government that you say will call you to say they want to increase fuel price. But one clear thing about it is that if they call me, they will know that I will say no. So that one is clear. And it is not in our character as Labour to be on bed with government, especially when their actions and pronouncements are anti-people. So to ask me whether, you know, they called me, whether I should be working with them on this, I can't work with them as far as it has to do with deceiving Nigerians, you know, punishing Nigerians. We will have to maintain our various positions, and the Nigerians are in a better position to judge. We are not involved in that arithmetic of going up and down. When we realize the position of government and what they have done over the years, that it has been a situation whereby when they increase, Labour attacks them, they reduce maybe 50 naira. And then the next time they're going to increase, they increase with about 300 naira. This present NLC decided to look at alternatives. And that was what led to the CNG agreement, which I told you about. That if you have the CNG agreement, that's my only regret today, that if you have the CNG agreement, already in place, as the independent marketers, petroleum marketers have volunteered their stations for conversion. If we had finished conversion of vehicles to use PMS, which I'm saying will cost less than 100 naira or thereabout, I will not bother if they are selling PMS for 3,000 a litre. It is now left from Nigerians who have options to decide whether to buy the option of CNG at 100 naira or to go and buy PMS at 800 or 1,000. That's the only regret I have. And that's what we got. That was what NLC got from that negotiation. We are not interested in the 500 they were talking, we didn't reduce it. But we had an option. We had a CNG, and gas deposit in Nigeria that will last you for the next 500 years. Now, why have they not started this conversion? Even when organizations like the African Development Bank are willing to bring funds for us to convert our vehicles to CNG. So if it is not to punish Nigerians, we could have started that option, and tried our 8 weeks agreement to see whether anything possible, anything better will happen. But that has not happened, and they went into increase. Before now, if we conclude the CNG agreement, the issue of increasing it to 5,000, 10,000 will not matter to every Nigerian. We now realize that without subsidy, we will now be paying 600 from 185. Every Nigerian now, even an illiterate Nigerian, knows that there is a difference of 400 naira they are getting from a litre, and it's highly subsidized. Before now, I would have agreed with him that subsidy is not getting to Nigeria, but the very moment subsidy was removed, and there was over 400 naira increase on top of what we're doing, over 200 naira increase, we now believe. I don't want anybody to say that again, because Nigerians know better what was happening when there was subsidy and what is happening now without subsidy. Now, on the issue of why we said we reject the 8,000 whatever they are coming up with, the first two meetings we had, they came up with 5,000, and they were talking about 50 million Nigerians. And we said no. From all indices, reports show that over 133 million Nigerians are poor, the rest of the poor. And then you can't think of even 50 million. And 10,000, 5,000 you are proposing is not acceptable given the level of poverty in the country. Besides, we need to do proper analysis to find out who are these people. Because you see a situation under the COVID-19 era that people were being paid, and when we ask questions, which account number did you pay this money to? Who are the people you paid this money to? Nobody gave us any information. Now this government is going into that again. The committee set up have not sat down to look at the people who are to benefit from this, the indices, how they are going to be paid, the amount, the number of Nigerians that will benefit. Only for government from nowhere came up with 8,000, came up with 12 million Nigerians. The 12 million Nigerians that are poor, is that number from Kano or is it the one from Lagos? Where are they getting this statistic from? You can see that these guys are not ready, they are not conscious in doing a proper work that will address the poor in this country. So to the NLC, and as far as we have not had any agreement on any of this, I think the government is trying to follow the trajectory of take it or leave it, and that is not what happens in a democracy. But the 8,000 is rejected, the 12 million Nigerians rejected, the statistics, how they got the people, and who are the people is rejected. You have to sit down and find out the people and the parameter for the selection of the people. You have to select the amount, that because that 8,000 is an Uber for a day to move you from one direction to the other. You have to equally look at how many Nigerians are the poorest of the poor. The Nigerians that you capture under the poorest of the poor can be less than 50 million or 100 million. So all these indices, we have to look at them. And if you don't do that, you are just, doing a rigmarole. By the way, it is not based on any work. It is not based on any agreement. It's not based on social dialogue between Labour and government.
What would be your own suggestions or alternative if you're rejecting the measures that the federal government has put forward?
There is a committee in place between government and Labour to look out, to work out the modalities. Look at the number of Nigerians that will be affected. Look at the amount. Look at the template, and who are these Nigerians, identify them. You can't set up this committee and go back to be doing a different thing. It's not a question of my own position. It's a consensus that was reached before these committees were formed. So why are you jettisoning the committee? That's the question.
What's your final thought tonight?
Well, there's a lot of misconception here. They will tell you the number, how they have reduced the number that is going to Cameroon and Niger. And they won't tell you that the number of vehicles have reduced from the road. They won't tell you that somebody that was buying 50 liters doesn't have money to buy 20 liters today, on and on. Like he is telling you to have patience. People that are dead, will no longer need to have patience. What is important is that any government that is not sensitive to the plight of Nigerians, is not there for the purpose of service. They are only interested in capital, in balancing their account. If you watch all the analysis that was coming up here, is a question of tomorrow. How can you talk of crude produced in Nigeria being an international product? Who internationalized it from a product we're having here? It's like telling us that Gary is an international product. What is the competition we're taking of Gary if Nigerians cannot process it here?
But Bala Zaka thinks differently. When Bala Zaka speaks, you learn. He exposes a lot of truths that are hitherto hidden. There's a documentary that I have somewhere on this channel. I'll look for a way to link it in the description, where you have Nicholas Howard, who happens to be a doctor at the International Institute of Social Studies in Hague, Netherlands, where he talks about how the West, the IMF and the World Bank, have put a system of education in place to teach our elites rubbish. And they found a way to put this rubbish into mathematical models so that our elites can be thoroughly confused. You'll be wondering why you see so many so-called oil and gas experts, so many high-up political leaders coming out on television these days to push the Tinubu narratives, which are all lies, trying to tell people that they should be patient, that good is going to come out of whatever policies Tinubu has in place. The truth is, the longer the policies stay, the worse things will get for Nigeria and for Nigerians. And there are very few patriotic Nigerians out there that are actually telling the truth. And Bala Zaka is one of them. There's another one, this Dr. Agbon, that provided the documents that exposed with empirical evidence the fact that the DSDP arrangement of the NNPC was a fraud. Bala Zaka is exposing another one. The things he said are also mind-boggling. Please watch this video. We'll interject here and there with our own thoughts so that Nigerians can know what exactly is going on. Don't believe these liars that you see on TV. Don't believe them. They are lying. They are driving a narrative that Tinubu's policy will bring about progress in the long run. It's a lie. I've always said it on this channel. Tinubu is moving in a wrong direction, a very wrong direction. And when you're moving in a wrong direction, it doesn't matter how long you move or how fast you run or how long you run, you will never get to your destination. Watch this video and then we'll continue the discussion afterwards.